A toy to die for. I'm Rebecca Lieb.
I'm Jason Horton.
And this is Ghost Town.
In Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, it was a near riot. One woman broke her leg. 4 others were hurt. One store official armed himself with a baseball bat.
In November 1983, people lost their minds over Cabbage Patch Kids. That was the apex of Cabbage Patch Kids mania.
I was born in October of 1983.
So you were there. You knew
so
how crazy it was.
I was cognizant of everything.
Your parents were like, get rid of...
I'd rather out of my mother's womb.
Get rid of this real kid and get me a Cabbage Patch Kid.
They put me...
Worth more.
That's right. The dissolving... my first memory of Cabbage Patch Kids was my parents got me one, and it was like, you'd find out if it was a girl or a boy, and it was in this dissolving paper wrap, and you could just open the paper and find out, but like you dissolve it, it was like this weird pulpy thing. It would like sit in the bath, like we couldn't like get rid of it, and I was like, it's a boy. His name is here. You can pick it. Congratulations! And I had the Xavier Roberts on the butt.
And Xavier Roberts was a bit of a scoundrel.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's a bit of a little bit of a swindler.
I like to think of him in my head. He looks like Oscar Wilde.
Yeah. Well.
No.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, he's sort of a thief.
Cabbage Patch Kids.
Sort of a thief. That's only part of the layers.
From Patch.
And I remember just if anyone's listening, if you might have a memory of it. And I remember I was like barely 30. I was like 28.
Oh my God.
But I remember thinking, I was young, but I remember thinking, I was like, wow, these are so, even though I'm not interested, I was like, I love, G.I. Joe, whatever I was interested in Atari. But I looked and I was like, they're like ugly and they don't even look like baby. I was like, I didn't get it.
No.
And I've always been, especially when I started looking at this, I love chaos.
Yeah.
We're like kind of unwinding from the holiday season, but this is usually the time where people are losing their minds, and I feel like people like things like what was Furbies? Were they people losing their Furbies?
Yeah, I think about
Tickle
Furbies,
Me Elbow.
Yeah, even like Gremlins. Honestly, like Gremlin toys. It's like there was a level of cuteness of that time, like the 80s. And not, I guess all of the time, where it's like, but it was like this otherworldly cute. It was this like uncanny valley where you're like, like
it was also attached to a lot of like merchandising too,
yeah.
which kind of amplified things a lot. But I was like, why were Cabbage Patch Kids so popular? Because on paper, just they're not like an attract, like they're not like a thing where it's like, oh, I can see why people like this. And I think there was somewhat of a perfect storm. That's what I was kind of trying to get into, why people losing their minds. And I think sometimes people are like, it's like fashion. If somebody says this is fashion,
you're like,
then it
I
is
will die for it.
Then it is fashion. And I think like these toys are popular and they're scarce. People want them. They don't even know why they want them. And I think that's part of it. And obviously the internet now, where you can order things online, doesn't mean things aren't scarce, but you don't have to drive hundreds of miles like some of these people did.
Yeah.
Because if it was Christmas morning,
oh my God,
and your kid didn't have the toy that it wants.
Oh. But one of my favorite things is looking at photos of on like Black Friday, or like looking at photos of parents rabidly trying to scour a mall and like fighting each other. I love like Kmart's with like glass broken into. Oh, I love that stuff.
Well, there's plenty of video when it comes to Cabbage Patch Kids. I mean, there's obviously a lot of this. It's pretty. People are just like, yeah, they're losing their minds over Cabbage Patch Kids. They have things where there's like, you get a coupon and you can only get one, and people don't like to be told like what they can and can't get. And I think it had something to do also is like Cabbage Patch Kids were one of the first things that were like not mass produced in the same way like an Atari. They all look like an Atari, or other toys. They were just like a mold. Like these were so
they're all a little bit different.
Different. There was an adoption, which gave it another level.
Yeah, it was very American Girl doll.
It was
now.
that.
Yeah.
It was the fact that, each one was like signed and, the a gender reveal, I suppose.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that to it, which I think gave it like an extra element. Because I was trying to think about that and I was like, oh, what is it about that? They all had, a different head. Their eyes were different. Their hair was different. The clothing options were different. So you felt like you had something unique, and there was, came with a birth certificate. I mean,
it's like a commodity.
It's pretty intense.
Absolutely. Well, it's almost like there was always that one little girl in a class that collected those like Madame Alexander dolls, which were kind of a similar thing. Where, you could design the dress, the eyes were different colors, like you could make them. It felt, again, like this and very American Girl doll. But there was something about Cabbage Patch Kids that really, like, tapped into the cultural zeitgeist. Like, it was like Pound Puppies, Cabbage. It's like, you rescue this. Like, you take this thing. You are, like, proactive in this, fucking toys narrative, which I think felt very compelling and special about Cabbage Patch dolls.
Why don't we stop rioting for ugly dolls for just a moment and take a little...
Just a moment. I swear to God, if it's more than a moment.
Take a little break. I know some of you are sleeping on a saggy old mattress, and you deserve better than that, so give yourself an upgrade. I mean, you already have the best taste in podcasts, and you deserve the best in everything else. Music, sandwiches, sleep, especially sleep, on a mattress that you deserve. Controversial opinion? Maybe. Are we heroes? Probably.
This weekend, I'm doing a legit deep clean / purge of my apartment, and I'm looking for, drumroll, a new mattress to kick it all off. I'm really picky about how I sleep, so my bedroom makeover was obviously my first priority. Of course, I went to Helix. Helix Sleep was awarded the #1 best overall mattress pick of 2019 by GQ and Wired magazine, so where else would I go? If you're looking for a mattress that's amazingly comfortable and built for you, helix.com/ghosttown for up to $200 off. Take their sleep quiz. It takes just 2 minutes to complete and matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. I did it. It was super fun, super easy, and now I just have to tackle the rest of my apartment.
I got my Helix mattress delivered right to my door, and it is amazing. I took a questionnaire. They asked me questions I never even would have thought of how important it is, and it is amazing. There was part for myself and a part for my wife, and we love it. We haven't had a new mattress in so long, and you don't realize how important it is and how much time you spend on it. It is life-changing. So whether you're a side sleeper, hot sleeper, like a plush or firm bed, with Helix, there's no more confusion and no more compromising on an average mattress. Just go to helixsleep.com/ghosttown, take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life.
They have a 10-year warranty, and you get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. They'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it, which is so convenient. I wish they would pick up the rest of my stuff I'm about to get rid of, but you won't have to have them pick it up because you are going to love it.
Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders for our listeners at helixsleep.com/ghosttown. That's Helix, HELIX, sleep.com/ghosttown for up to $200 off. And we're back.
Hi.
Look at us.
Ooh. We didn't kill anyone with a baseball bat.
No. Let me tell you something. You want to go to a safe place? There is no rioting whatsoever. There's plenty to go around. Patreon.com/ghosttownpod. Bonus episodes.
Oh.
You can adopt
an army of bonies from any patch.
Any patch.
You can name them yourself.
Yes.
I don't care.
$2 a month.
It's got my name on the butt.
You think this is real, don't you? I created a world that you think is real.
I choose to accept it as real.
So it helps us keep the little red light on this new microphone we have on.
Yeah, ding, ding, ding.
And it's just, we're trying to travel and do some festivals, so it helps out. And if you can rate and review wherever you listen to podcasts, sometimes we take a beating on those. So wherever you're listening, if you can give it 5 stars and give it a nice review,
wonderful.
We don't mind being lied to.
I appreciate it. In fact, I privilege it. So lie to me.
Yeah, please.
Lie to me like the show. In fact, you'll get staffed on Lie to Me if you donate to us.
And then followed by Suits on you.
Any USA show. Pick a USA show.
All right, you want to start fighting over?
Yeah, I got to get back in there.
Yeah, I mean, do you even have a name for your Cabbage Patch right now?
My Cabbage Patch right now. What was my favorite name as a child? Probably like Melanie or like Melissa, maybe a Vanessa. What are like the 80s names?
Yeah.
It would probably be like Valerie, Melanie, Vanessa.
A lot of IEs. All right, let's go.
Good Christian names.
All right. Well, I'm sure Melanie and Vanessa probably try to strangle each other for a Cabbage Patch. So to get into where they came from, how it originated.
Not a Cabbage Patch? Not a real patch of cabbages.
No, not at all.
Xavier Santa doesn't exist.
Xavier Roberts straight up stole the idea. He was at like a craft fair.
Of course he was.
Yeah, Martha,
Oscar Wilde at a fucking craft fair.
Martha Nelson Thomas, she had dolls there called little dolls. So they were like unique dolls that she made herself, and it had that, the idea of like a birth certificate and all that. And he was like, this is great. I'll just do a version of this, but I'm already in the industry of mass producing things, and she ended up suing him and was like, you stole my idea. And then they settled, but still it was like worth it because it was extremely successful.
Look at him now. Look at her now. I don't know. Where are they?
I think what ended up happening is they opened up an Airbnb together. Yeah.
That's adorable.
It was a Cabbage Patch Kid themed Airbnb.
I love that.
But 1983, especially, because it's Black Friday, get it for Christmas. If you don't get it, if you don't have it then, you don't get it.
Yeah.
So November 1983, people lost their minds. That's what I remember. And there's so many videos that they, riots were breaking out in stores. Parents were just like, I got to drive 200 miles to get this thing because somebody has it. And there's no eBay or internet to communicate. It's just like, somebody who has something.
You're hoping. You're just driving. You're hoping that your kid doesn't disown you.
It's, people in stores are like buying them, maybe they're buying them out and selling them. And just like, when people buy tickets to concerts, they just buy out tickets and
it's
they scalp
also
them.
like, especially when they're in different like shades of skin color too. There's a lot of like racism involved in it, and a lot of like, almost like, again, like white privilege and supremacy and certain dolls being commodified over other ones. I find it so fascinating. It's
an interesting sociological, I guess, experiment. Do you remember Zayres? Did you remember Zayres? Okay.
Yeah.
I remember Zayres. It's bizarre, right? It's like, how long was like Zayres?
I know. It's like, when will I ever hear that again?
Well, right now.
Oh.
There was a Zayres department store. This is like a pretty famous video in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And a riot broke out in the store. And the store manager was like, I don't know what to do. He grabbed a baseball bat and was like... Yeah. A quote in the New York Times, "This is my life that's in danger."
Wow.
Yeah, there was William Shigo. He was just like, "I'll start swinging this bat." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, "It
doesn't matter."
He's like, "This is not worth it."
The atrocities committed over a trending toy.
Yeah. They were born in a Cabbage Patch, and then they would get adopted.
Born of modest means.
Yeah. And then, there was a certification. You can add your name. So this is like, the name
legit.
of the... Yeah, it's like what does it kind of teach about being really young and being like, hey, are you ready to be a mother? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just a bunch of single mothers, right?
Yeah, just a bunch of...
I mean, I'm saying, or single fathers. I mean, what I'm saying is there's...
Yeah.
Whoever was buying it, I'm sure is mostly...
It's mimicry, though. Yeah. I think you're right, but I also think a lot... Like, kids play with dolls because they mimic their parents and how their parents, interact with little kids. So I think, like, they want to kind of... It's like little kitchen...
Sure, yeah, I want to cook and stuff like that.
Yeah, like a tiny... Like, what's the little microwave that you would put like one nacho cheese?
Easy bake oven?
Yeah. It's like one chip in there. Put a little shredded cheese in one chip. I'm a cook, like my mom.
At a New York area Toys R Us, Eyewitness News spoke to parents who were desperate for the dolls. And a lot of them got to the store in time, but in minutes, it was over. They were sold out. And one woman told Channel 7 she was calling her sisters in Nebraska and Illinois to see if they can get her a doll. So they had like, kind of like a phone tree.
Yeah, they had like an underground like shipping
Or
network.
she would drive to Pennsylvania. If that failed, she was going to reach out to a niece in California.
God.
At the Romance Emporium in Clifton, New Jersey.
This is why I'm not a mom. I'd be like, you want this? I can't get it. Here's a bale of hay. Enjoy your life.
Or you would be like, I'll give you everything you want. How do you interact with your cat?
My cat?
Yeah. Do you say, here's a bale of hay? Or do you say, here's exactly everything you want whenever you want it? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be the biggest...
Really?
You don't even want it... you don't even
but
want...
Cats don't know. They don't want specifics. Kids, it's like, you got to learn to not
My
have...
cat wants the PlayStation 5 when it comes out.
Oh, yeah, you can watch
Demands
a
it.
Nintendo Twitch.
But I honestly, would be so, like, I'm just a pushover.
Even like, I guess I forget the demographic for Cabbage Patch Kids. It's like, I feel like kids who like Cabbage Patch Kids are really young. And again, if they don't get one, I know you can recognize it. That's part of the problem. Like, you can't get a knockoff one. But there was other stuff. I don't know how it would be. I shouldn't be a parent, I don't think. I'll be a cat parent.
Would you pay?
We're gonna hash it out now.
The dolls were selling for $50. In 1983, a lot of money.
Well, it's a lot of money. That's like,
the retail price was $21, which is probably not cheap either.
no.
So it's, you're paying a lot.
It's marked up for sure.
And there was just enough people, and then eventually it's just, I think Coleco, the company Coleco bought it. It was like a huge sell, but eventually that it changed. You know what I mean? Like, you cash in, and then other things become popular. Like, and I think maybe in the same way Beanie Babies are kind of collectible. I think Cabbage Patch Kids are, but something interesting. Think of a candy that sounds like Cabbage Patch Kids. A popular candy, still very popular.
Charleston Chews.
Cabbage Patch Kids. Take out cabbage. You got Patch
Sour
Kid.
Patch Kids.
Yep.
Does that
Sour
take
Patch
me
Kids. Yes, they
too
took
long?
that. They
Yes,
were
it
like,
did.
"Oh, this is very popular. Let's piggyback off."
I
of
also
cabbage.
threw up eating way too many Sour Patch Kids as a kid.
Okay, I was going to say recently.
No. I mean, when I was a kid, 2 months ago, So wait, Sour Patch Kids came from Cabbage Patch Kids?
No, I think when they were naming it, it had like a different name. They renamed it. Like, why don't we just? Yeah, and if you think about it, it's like you would not make that connection.
Sour Patch makes more sense than Cabbage Patch because it's like, oh, like you're eating something, it's food versus like, oh, kids come from cabbages. Pick one.
I also, a couple of things I saw which I thought was interesting, that remember Etch-a-Sketch?
Yeah.
That I think the people were working like on manufacturing Etch-a-Sketch like in the 1960 to keep up with the demand of Etch-a-Sketch. So that was like on Christmas Eve.
They were
still
making them.
Yeah, they were manufacturing
people
them.
still need these.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's something I would probably do for an episode of Strange Years.
Yeah.
Like
Etch-a-Sketches are really interesting. Also, they were, I think about them and I think about them being a part of the space race too, because they were like, bring an Etch-a-Sketch to space. Like they were so much a part of the trending culture at the time. But wait, what is the toy right now that would be the counterpart to it? Like what's like the thing? I feel like it'd be like a Nintendo Switch or something.
It would have to be, it's probably...
Or like an iPhone, right?
Yeah, technologically related. It's not going to be...
That's so disappointing.
Yeah, it's not going to be... I mean, again, I don't really know. There's probably are, toys out there. We're just not,
Yeah, we're not children.
Things that are digital are just very popular. iPads, Switches, and things of that. And I'm sure there's probably certain dolls that are probably still...
Yeah, I think there's still stuff, but I do wonder... I guess also probably just merchandise, like Baby Yoda shit. I bet stuff like that is really the most popular. It's so sad. Why don't we have weird dolls anymore? Why don't we drive to Pennsylvania for a weird doll? You know what? I'll do it.
Morbidology is a weekly true crime podcast hosted by me, Emily G. Thompson, author of Unsolved Child Murders and co-author of Unsolved Murders, True Crime Cases Uncovered.
911 emergency. My son shot my husband. I need an ambulance. He's bleeding.
Using investigative research combined with primary audio, including 911 calls, interviews, and trial testimony, Morbidology takes a look at some of the world's most heinous murders.
Do you know why you're here?
For a home invasion gone terribly wrong.
Listen to Morbidology now on Himalaya, Apple, Stitcher, Podbean, or wherever else you get podcasts.